Are you surprised that previous administration dragged in toying with this idea when you said it's so beneficial to the economy? Are you surprised that previous administration did not give so much force into the implementation of this program?
I will not say the previous administration dragged. These are programs and projects being implemented in phases. And that is just my view. I don't think there is a dragging of feet on it, because we are the driving institution. We know what is happening. It is being implemented in phases, and here we are. Now we are at the full scale of it.
Now, we understand that some agencies like the armed forces are yet to comply with this directive. Would you be granting some peculiar waiver to some agencies?
I will not be in a position to say that some agencies are not complying, because this is directive of Mr. President, and the body language and words of Mr. President are very clear and straight. I believe all agencies will be on board. It is a matter of time. There could be some teething problems, and more so, the circular itself makes a proviso where a peculiar situation presents itself for an agency. It can be given, a special consideration, subject to approval of Mr. President. So it's not something that this office can unilaterally just embark upon giving and granting waivers to institutions. No. But I believe all agencies eventually will come on board.
In what way would this reduce the cost of governance?
Well, if savings are blocked, the business of government is run through MDAs, agencies, and institutions of government. So if leakages are blocked in those institutions, the cost of governance is eventually reduced. There could be some other ways government will reduce cost of governance, and of course, those ways are known. But naturally, saving and cutting, carving excesses, and making sure that there is value for money for whatever we embark upon in terms of government expenditure will naturally save cost of governance, and it will amount to savings in terms of revenue and so on.
It's been said that this reform will bring about availability of funds for development. Do you have specific timelines for this development?
Well, you talk of development, you are talking of wider, perspective of enhancing the quality of life of Nigerians, which I believe ultimately that is the goal set for by the administration in terms of savings to achieve results. Expectations of Nigerians are high in terms of services, healthcare, education, and so on and so forth. All this put together means development if they are improved upon. And I believe the savings will be used in that direction.
Now, tell us the findings when you launched the pilot scheme. What were your findings?
Well, it resulted into a lot of encouragement and some incentive for us to carry on to get to where we are today. We felt encouraged from the results we've seen. You talk of savings from IPPS, and that in itself is enough to push us and to push government to pursue these reforms and see it to the logical conclusion.
Now, some people have called for the introduction of Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and the Accountant General of the Federal Government. Would you suggest that the office should be split into two?
Well, I will say my view, not minding my position. Naturally, there were cause to be apprehensive. So for those, namely states, that have a stake and share in the national revenue, feeling that, look, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation is likely or is perceived to be going towards in favor of the master, being the federal government. I think this fear now is not necessary, because with the present leadership that believes in due process, with the present leadership that believes in respect for procedures, all these fears, I believe, are allayed. I don't want to comment about what happened in the past, but I know with the present leadership, such fears are allayed.
Now, let's look at the section 162, subsection 6, that talks about the local government, the allocation of funds between the federal and the local government, and the joint account between the local and state governments. Do you think there's a need to amend this section of the law?
Well, as it is now, I see no fault with that section. It is simply talking about revenues of the federation to be in an account, federation account. This is a summary of it. I'm not quoting from Constitution. I'm just giving you the basic information, basic idea. And I believe it's okay to the extent that in the end, we meet monthly to share these revenues based on agreed formula, which is, again, legal and constitutional. So it should remain as it is.
I think what gave rise to this call is that some are saying that when the funds are being allocated, that the local government's funds has been subject to manipulation by their state governments.
The provisions, the relevant provisions, section 162 you mentioned, never gave rise to such. And if something else is happening at state level, I think that is a different issue entirely, and it should be addressed at state level. There is no problem with the provisions of the Constitution.
Now, what innovations would you be introducing as the Office of the Accountant General in reducing the cost of governance and also bringing financial prudence to the running of governments?
The way we are going now, the TSA, blocking leakages, curbing corruption, zero tolerance to corruption, and so on and so forth. The direction has been set, like I said, by the leadership, and we are following, and we will ensure that no stone is left unturned in pursuing this course. We will do it at our own level, and at every level, I believe, leadership of institutions will imbibe this and put it into practice to its logical conclusion, so that in the end, Nigerians reap the benefit of this administration.
So how do you intend to use your office to make the Federal Accounts and Allocation Committee more smoother and more transparent in its allocations? Well,
the allocations are made based on specified criteria, and this criteria is known. Yes, we can improve on our way and manner we do the disbursement in terms of technology and so on, but unless and until such formula is reviewed by the relevant institution, we at the Office of Accountant General of the Federation, there is nothing we can do. We must follow it as it is. It is constitutional, it is legal. And all stakeholders, the federal government, the state government, and so on, are represented at the allocation point, at FAC.
Does your office have any role in the collation of looted funds from abroad or from anywhere else?
Well, to the extent we keep and maintain accounts, yes, but beyond that, no, because we are not an agency charged to go and pursue those who looted Nigeria's resources. There are agencies that do that, and I think they will be in a better position to tell you what they've done so far.
So how much has been recovered so far?
I am not really in a position to tell you that. I don't have the figures.
Mr. Ahmed Idris, it's been nice having you make out time to be part of this episode of Question Time and also to enlighten the nation about the state of the nation's finance and the innovation you're bringing to bring in transparency and financial stability into the nation's finances. Thank you very much indeed. And that's as much as we can take on this episode of Question Time. You can also send your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week on another exciting episode on the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashiru saying goodbye.